Good day, I'm Theodore Henry, and this is your JIS News for Wednesday, February 1, 2023. The long-anticipated new Road Traffic Act is now in effect. Minister of Transport and Mining Audley Shaw says there will be a period of transition from the old regime to finalize changes to documents used and required adjustments in road infrastructure.
Therefore, the aspects that require a phased implementation will be addressed as we transition to operating under the new legislative regime. Arrangements and interim legislative provisions have been made to preserve the validity of the current while we move into the future.
As part of the transition, all persons with demerit points on their driver's license prior to February 1, 2023 will have their points expunged to begin the new enforcement regime with a clean slate.
Persons who have not cleared their matters will still be required to attend court and address the tickets that are outstanding.
The Road Traffic Act 2018 ushers in key changes to the driver's license process and speed limits, as well as new offenses and increased penalties for some existing traffic violations. Among the key changes that will directly impact the public, drivers are now restricted to hands-free use of cellular phones while driving, and texting while driving is strictly prohibited. To acquire a learner's permit, persons must pass the road code test, do a medical, provide proof of identity and address, and pay the requisite fee. In order to get a Class A or B driver's license, driving skills, yard and road tests will be required. For a Class C license, commercial vehicle or mechanical knowledge, as well as yard and road tests, plus a more comprehensive medical is necessary. Under the new Road Traffic Act, tickets can now be served for offenses detected by cameras, and the owner of the vehicle will be held liable, though the offense will not attract demerit points.
The regulatory framework is set out in the regulations and will permit deployment of this mode of operation as soon as the requisite infrastructure and the communication mechanisms are established.
Other key changes include a joined-up ticket management system that links information across Tax Administration Jamaica, the courts, Island Traffic Authority, and the JCF to address existing gaps that cause deficiencies in the enforcement process. Changes to the speed limit regime include 5 km/h zones now being put in place where warranted, and a reduced 30 km/h limit for school safety zones. The Road Traffic Appeal Tribunal also comes into existence today. This 7-member body will give aggrieved motorists an avenue to appeal decisions of the Island Traffic Authority, which is now empowered to issue notices to carry out the suspension of a driver's license and to execute the requirements under the Road Traffic Act. In other news, Parliament has extended the zones of special operations, ZOSOS, in 7 communities across the island for another 60 days. Minister of National Security Dr. Horace Chang tabled the resolution calling for the extension in the House of Representatives on Tuesday. He insists that the ZOSOS remain relevant and robust and are bringing about meaningful and sustainable transformation of the communities, restoring a sense of hope for residents.
The intended outcomes and impact of the zones cannot be fully realized unless the investment and initiatives are sustained over the medium to long term. This must be accompanied by routine monitoring and rigorous evaluation, which we have set out to do to ensure that the lessons learned will inform the way forward.
Over the period of the extension, Mount Salem and Denham Town will continue into the build phase. Greenwich Town, August Town, Norwood, Parade Gardens, and Savannah Lamar will continue in the hold phase of the operation. Bauxite company UC Rasal has been given 2 weeks to stabilize the 400 emaciated and starving cows on its Kirkvine, Manchester property. This comes on the heels of a recent discovery of the appalling conditions in which an estimated 400 animals are housed. The images showed the cattle in various stages of emaciation and suffering, along with accounts of multiple deaths. Minister of Agriculture and Fisheries Pernell Charles Jr. says the animals will be placed in a government-monitored facility and treated with appropriate remediation if the actions taken by the company are insufficient to improve their condition.
The Jamaican Society for the Prevention of Cruelty to Animals, the JSPCA, will give further consideration to laying charges under their corresponding which is the Cruelty to Animals Act, on UC Russell.
The minister's statement follows an emergency meeting on Monday with members of his team, as well as executives from UC Russell and the Jamaica Society for the Prevention of Cruelty to Animals, JIS. He has given assurances that other steps will be taken to prevent the negligent act from happening again.
UC Russell has committed to providing the monitoring team with a detailed medium and long-term management plan to include the necessary training support assisted by RADA and the Jamaica Dairy Development Board so as to prevent any reoccurrence of this kind of situation in the foreseeable future.
In other sector news, the Ministry of Agriculture and Fisheries will be giving heifers and more technical and financial support to the College of Agriculture, Science and Education, CASE, this year. This will be done to encourage CASE staff and students to start new businesses and establish the college as Portland's leading research and development hub. Portfolio Minister Pernell Charles Jr., who made the announcement, says he hopes the students will continue to push agriculture forward in the coming year.
It is important for you to know that when you hear your minister talk about grow smart, eat smart, you are the smart. We want scientists, economists, agronomists to make decisions that are wise.
The minister was addressing CASE's Founders Weekend celebrations recently. He also appealed to the students to break down any barriers that may arise and push agriculture to its pinnacle.
It is you that we are relying on to make sure that you understand it's no longer just production. It's no longer just being happy because we have recorded the highest level of production, which we have in the last 2 years, and I want to give thanks to the farmers and fishers for that.
And finally, Minister of Education and Youth Favour Williams is committing to the provision of psychotherapy and counselling for children who have experienced trauma as a result of verbal abuse and violent threats. This comes in response to a recent incident at Newell High School in St. Elizabeth, where a social media video circulated of a teacher verbally abusing, chasing, and threatening to kill a student. Minister Williams says the teacher's actions are unacceptable and reflect poorly on the profession. She adds that the teacher's behavior also demonstrates that individual's need for psychotherapy sessions. In the wake of the video, the school's board chairman scheduled an emergency meeting to discuss the teacher's behavior in compliance with the 48-hour notice requirement set forth under the current regulations for members. The Office of the Children's Advocate, OCA, and the Commission of Police have been given the video of the incident for inquiry. And that's it for JIS News Today. I'm Theodore Henry. Thanks for watching.